Welcome to Beginning Data Science using Python, Anaconda, and Spider. What we're going to learn today is just how to get the software, get it set up, and look at it just briefly. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is come to anaconda.com. This is the place that you can go and get the software. It's totally free for the individual edition. So you would just come over to products and you would see individual edition, and it says open source edition. All you have to do is click on it. It will take you to the appropriate website for your particular computer. For example, I'm on a Windows machine. If I were on a Linux machine or a Mac machine, they would direct me correctly to the right installer. Here I would hit download, it will download, and then you would run the installer. Once you've done that, everything's installed, what you would do next is you will look on your computer for this icon, and it'll be in a folder in your start menu that says Anaconda. So it'll have this icon here, right here. So I'm going to open that up now, and this is what you would see if you opened up that icon. And you can see there's a whole bunch of programs in here. Now, notice some of them say launch and some of them say install. Notice that you have some people like VS Code for editing, some people like Jupyter Notebooks for editing. We're going to use Spider because Spider is the similar editor to RStudio, and since we used RStudio for the R part, I figured leaving it with Spider will maintain some consistency. So what you would do is you would simply click this launch button, wait a couple seconds, and sure enough, the Spider editor would open up, and it looks like this. Very similar to an RStudio editor. So if you're familiar with that, this works quite well in being similar. Okay, so over here is the editor window. This is where you're going to type your code. I said, give me a new file, and it automatically put all this information in here for me. So you can see it puts the date on it, when you started it, who the author is. It found it was me. And I have some other code up here that are in tabs that I can access as well. There's buttons up here to create a new file, open a file, save a file, save all of them at once. There's things where you can run the whole file, where you can run a current section of the file, where you can run the current section and then go to the next one. And then there's a run current line or section. So whatever's highlighted. And this is the one you're going to want to use the most. The rest of these we're not going to worry about right now. We'll talk about them later. Over here is the console window. So this is where all of the output is going to be. So all of your output is going to be here, as well as all of your debugging information. Very similar to R and RStudio in the sense that all of the information comes through one window versus like SAS, which has a log that you can look in for your debugging, which is separate. Okay, and it also has a history here, so it can see all of the code that you've ran in here. Okay, so there's also this other window, which is multi-purpose. So it has a variable explorer. So if we had some variables, which we don't at the moment, you can come in here and see what they are and look at them. It has access to help. This is where your plots would be. And it also has a file directory. So whatever directory we're in, so here, C, users, ed, these are all the files that are in that directory. Now, we'll learn how to change this directory in another video. But right now, what the idea is if you need to look for a file quickly, you can see that it's right over here without having to go through and look up using Finder or Explorer or whatever on your machine to actually find that individual file, especially if it's in your directory. All right, so this is the setup. It's pretty easy to do. Go get the software, get it set up on your machine. Make sure you've made it to this point. Now, your Spider might look different than mine because I have mine in dark mode. Yours might be a white mode. It doesn't matter. You can learn how to edit the settings on that as we go along. But right now, you should get to this point, and in the next video, we'll start doing some stuff where we can actually start processing, make some variables, learn how to bring in some packages, and hopefully read in some data. So I will see you in the next video.